What is going on, YouTube? So today I'm going to show you guys how to adjust a UPR specific 3-hook quadrant and the firewall adjuster and adjustable cable to get the clutch pedal feeling pretty darn good. If you guys don't already know, this car is Coyote swapped. It is T56 swap as well. So we have a T56 in it from a Terminator Cobra. So this whole process is pretty much going to be universal for all SN-95s, but if you have 0304 Cobra with the T56, then things are going to look extremely familiar underneath this car. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and jack this car up. I'm going to show you guys the adjustment that you guys need to do down at the fork. My clutch and the pedal, the way everything feels right now is great. I'm just going to go ahead, jack it up, and I'm going to add just a little dab of blue Loctite to my locking washer because I do not want these adjustment nuts backing off. And you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about because the way I have my quadrant set up, it actually uses pretty much the very end of the threads on the adjustable cable at the clutch fork. And I don't want that nut backing off and the clutch cable falling off the clutch fork because that will leave you stranded. But it is worth it for the way the clutch pedal feels right now. So anyways, I'm going to jack up the car. I'm going to show you exactly what to do at the clutch fork, and we'll go from there. So basically, you just need to jack up on the driver's side to be able to squeeze underneath here. Of course, this would be a lot easier on the lift, but it is doable with the jack. So right here we have our adjustable clutch cable, as you guys can see right there at the fork, and you have a jam nut and a little locking nut. It's just on my application here, I'm not sure what brand clutch cable this is, but as you guys can see, it has these two nuts, and like I was telling you guys, the way my quadrant is set up, it pretty much uses the whole length of this cable. So we're, what is it, 4 threads exposed at the end of this cable. So like I was saying, I want to put Loctite on that back locking nut just because I do not want it to back off, because it only needs to back off about 4 or 5 threads there, and you know, the clutch cable will just fall out of the clutch fork there. So anyways, I'm going to show you guys what you need to do to break this apart. It is a 13 and a 11. So basically what you do is get your 11 on the jam nut right here, and that's my 13 actually. Get your 11 on the jam nut just like so. You're going to hold it in place. It's probably going to fall off because I'm holding my phone. And so you're going to need both hands obviously, and you get your 13 here, and you just break off this locking nut. Once you break it off, you're going to back this all the way off by hand, back off your jam nut, and let your cable just have all the play in the world. And this little sleeve right here, it goes into the bell housing. It may pop out, that's fine, because once you get this cable loose, it's going to make your life a lot easier working underneath the dash for the quadrant. That is the worst part. So I'm going to go ahead and break this locking nut off. I want to apply some Loctite to it, and then we'll crawl underneath the dash and I'll show you guys where I prefer the quadrant to be set up at. Okay, and this is the not so fun part of this whole process. So if you guys are in the process of installing your clutch quadrant, then hopefully this will save you guys the headache of trying to figure out which hook you guys want on your quadrant. If you have a setup like mine that has 3 different hooks, like I said, this is the UPR 3-hook setup. So I'm skinny enough to actually fit underneath the dash with the seat still intact. So I'm gonna go ahead and snake myself underneath this dash and show you guys where the clutch quadrant is located. Okay, so here is the clutch quadrant, and as you guys can see with my 3-hook setup, I have my clutch cable on the very far hook, the hook that's closest to you, the driver. You have a hook that's pretty much up against the firewall, and that second hook, which is where it was originally set up on my car, and then the third hook, which is where I have mine situated. So you guys will definitely want this cable disconnected at the clutch fork, because you do not have much room to snake up in there, and the cable is very tight. If you try to just loosen up the jam nuts at the very end of the threads, it's almost impossible. I just disconnected the clutch cable, saved me a lot of time. But anyways, this quadrant is located beside your gas pedal actually, and like I said, my car is coyote swap, so I have electronic throttle pedal here, so just disregard that if you're wondering why it's set up like that. But anyways, the third hook, which is what I'm calling this, the hook closest to you, the driver, has made my clutch effort pretty much amazing. The clutch pedal itself is super light, and you can push it with your hand. As you can see, I'm pulling the clutch cable right there. Matter of fact, I'm gonna slide out of the car because I'm starting to feel a little claustrophobic down here trying to talk. So yeah, on that third hook, the clutch pedal feels super light. I mean, it almost feels like a hydraulic clutch in my S-197 cars. And I'm gonna show you guys another adjustment if you guys have the adjustable firewall adjuster. You guys are going to want to adjust this once you get your cable reconnected back at the clutch fork. So let's just say the car is still jacked up and you guys have just put the clutch cable on the third hook on your quadrant, which is the hook I recommend if you guys want a very light pedal effort, because the second one still made the pedal firm, but my clutch take-up was at the very tip top of the pedal. I could not stand that. So on the third hook, the pedal is super light, and the clutch actually starts to grab at the halfway point on the clutch pedal take-up. So once you get it adjusted on that third hook, you go underneath the car, set up your cable, and you just run the cable back through the clutch fork. And what you want to do is pull that clutch fork towards the front of the car and put just the slightest amount of preload to the pressure plate fingers with your throwout bearing. So what you do, you just pull that fork just ever so slightly up towards the front of the car until the throwout bearing makes slight contact with those fingers. You do not want an air gap. And then once you get it situated there, tighten it down. You can make all your fine tuning adjustments up here at this adjuster. And what we're wanting to do is, oops, phone died, of course. But what we want to do is adjust this firewall adjuster to the point where you can pull on this clutch cable slack, and you want to be able to pull just a small gap. And I've read that a dime's thickness is perfect, so if you guys want to grab a dime and pull this slack and shove it in between this white plastic housing and the firewall adjuster, that'd be a really good way. But I just kind of eyeballed it, and pulling the slack here, that is my gap that I have, and the clutch feels amazing. Like I said, it picks up at the halfway mark instead of the very top, and pedal effort is very light. It doesn't take much effort at all. So if you guys have a UPR clutch quadrant with a 3-hook setup, this is how I have mine set up, and it feels great. I've been doing a lot of research online. The 3-hook is pretty much a gimmick from what I'm understanding. But all these quadrants that are dual hook and the 3-hook, I would just stay away from them personally and just get a regular single hook billet quadrant and be done with it. That way you don't have to worry about it, because I think the single hook setups are pretty much exactly how the third hook is on my setup right now. It kind of mimics that single hook. Like if you buy the Ford Performance Quadrant, I believe, or even the Maxim Motorsports. So 3 hooks, to me, they're a gimmick. Just use the hook that's closest to you, the driver. I'm going to reference that as the third hook, because if you're counting from the firewall back towards you, that would be the third hook. So if you guys have this set up, if you've bought a car that already has this, or if you've already bought a 3 hook and you don't know how to set it up, this is how I would definitely recommend it, because like I said, the clutch picks up like normal, the pedal effort is super light, and all the gear engagement is super good, especially with the T56. If you guys are familiar, reverse is always kind of hard to get into, especially with a short throw shifter like mine. With this setup, with my quadrant and cable, the way it is right now, reverse and first gear, they go in effortlessly. So, highly recommend the way mine is set up if you guys want a very good street drivable clutch feel. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helps somebody out.